and to hear and render decisions on intentions of the requirements of the zoning ordinance. The board consists of 5 voting members. It requires 4 affirmative votes for approval of any variance or interpretation. All cases on the agenda will be heard in the order listed. The order of proceeding for each case shall be as follows. A, city staff will make a brief presentation outlining the application. B, the applicant shall present his case. C, persons in favor of the variance shall present their evidence. D, persons opposed to the variance shall present their evidence. E, the applicant shall be given a rebuttal period. F, the public hearing will be closed and no further testimony will be accepted. The normal procedure is that the board will discuss and take action on the application. All meetings of the board are open to the public. Now, anyone in the audience who thinks for any reason they will speak before the board tonight, please stand and take the oath, which is, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth in all matters pertaining to the cases before the Board of Adjustments? Please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. I'm going to call the roll. John Davies.
Here.
Jack Lehman.
Here.
John Oster.
Here.
Aaron Crosley.
Here.
And I'm Roy Brown, and I'm here, I think. Our first case there was a request to continue this case, which was case 22-999-07, Ryan's Care Car Center. Do I have a motion to continue the case?
Mr. Chairman,
Do you want to speak about it? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll say the case 22-999-07, that we will continue the case as requested.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor of continuing the case, please raise your hand. Okay. Case 22-999-07 has been continued to the August 18th, 2022 meeting. Okay, so cases to be heard here. Case number 22-999-08, a variance to the lot depth to width ratio standard for the properties at 1804 and 1854 North Charlton Road. The applicant is here. First of all, we're going to see a movie, so no popcorn.
Or at least a slideshow. No movie.
Just still.
Yeah. This is an application for a variance to the lot width to depth ratio or depth to width ratio for 2 properties out on North Charlton Road. As you can see from the aerial map there, these are on the west side of Charlton, just south of 24 Highway. The applicant is Erwin Gard. He's a surveyor here in the area. This shows the location of the zoning around it. It is this property and most of the properties around it are zoned RA, residential agriculture. To the north of 24 Highway is unincorporated Jackson County. That's why there's no color there. This is the general property shaped, kind of outlined by the information we have with the county. As you can see, the north property line somewhat follows a creek line that goes through goes east to west or west to east along that makes up the north property line. There's frontage on the Charlton Road on the right, which is the east, and there's a small, or what used to be a pond there on the south side of the site. Now this was a plat that was approved about 6 months ago or so. You can see This plat met all the city code requirements for size and depth to width ratio and frontage and all that sort of thing. And then this plat, it's kind of hard to see really the differences. One thing, this plat has got track A, B, and C, which will be changed later, but the numbers that are on the right side, which make up the dimensions, are kind of hard to see, but track A is a little bigger than the track B and C in the previous slide. And the lot width was taken out of track B and C on this one to provide more room for track A to allow them more possible area to build their home. Here we're out on North Charlton, looking south down the road. If you've ever been out there, it's a pretty quiet road there. The applicant's property is generally to the right. Here is one of the lots, or part of one of the lots. There's really no way to tell where the lot lines are out there. But that's one of the lots, I believe. And then this is also another picture there, more part of the property. And then this is kind of the south side of the property. And this is looking to the northwest. That tree line is where the creek flows, and there's also a stream buffer along there and some floodplain. The property owners have put a driveway out there, as you can see down here on the lower side of the slide, to access the back of the property. There's been no permits or anything issued to this point. They're just starting out to that process. And here we're looking north up Charlton Road, 24. You go up the hill, and then there's a slight swerve to the right, and then it goes back to the north, and that's where you intersect with 24 Highway. So that's all the slides we have. If you have any questions, we can see those again. There's not really much to look at there because they all sort of look alike.
Thank you. Will the applicant please come forward and state your name and address, please?
My name is Irwin Guard.
Lift the mic up. There you go.
That works better. My name's Irwin Guard. I'm the owner of Guard Horizon LLC. The address is 1040 Southwest Luttrell, Blue Springs. I assume each of you received the cover letter that came with the application, which fairly detailed outlined the history of why we're here tonight. Do I need to go through that history again, or do you want to save time and just use the letter that I...
Well, if you want to briefly explain your purpose in this.
Yeah, Mr. Guard, could you move the microphone down a little bit closer to you? Kind of bend it down. There you go. That's a little bit better. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll lean in a little bit too. Generally, what happened in late 21, my clients came to me and wanted me to survey and divide this acreage out on Charlton Road. We prepared a minor subdivision plat according to their instructions. We submitted it to the city, and during the process of review, comments came back from staff indicating that the two lots on the south did not meet the 4-to-1 width to depth ratio. We made some adjustments by moving the lines north to meet that required ratio. And if you recall, back at the end of 21, early 22, things were really hectic with the COVID running around and staff shortages. My office didn't escape that. We had the same effect. What happened was then, I think it was February of 22, the clients wanted to start building driveways and making some improvements, and so they needed to see the property corners set. I squeezed them into my schedule, went out and set the markers, not knowing at the time that the file I was using was based on the original application copy and not the revised copy moving the lines north. So therefore, the monuments that I set on the ground were in the wrong place. The clients then proceeded to build a couple of driveways, plant some trees, started a garden. One of the clients began developing plans for a home and sewer treatment systems, and hired me then to do the plot plan and staking for the house. It was at that time that we discovered the error in our staking of the original lot corners, that they were based on the original plat rather than the amended plat. After we discovered it and determined where the corrected corners should be, we discovered that the trees they planted were now on somebody else's property. One of the driveways, the new property line was right on the edge of the gravel. I mean, you couldn't even get off the gravel without crossing the property line. But more importantly, the northerly lot, the lot next to the creek, when the lines moved north to meet the 4-to-1 ratio, the building room on that lot became really critical because it pushed everything down closer to the creek and, in an area that would be subject to flooding at some point. They were not happy with the new lines because of the improvements they'd made and their reliance on what they thought were the correct lines. But again, more importantly, they were very disturbed with the proximity of the creek to that north lot. So I suggested that we apply to the BOA and ask for a variance on the lot to depth ratio so that we can move the lines back to where they originally wanted them. That was according to the original submission that we made before staff comments. And so that's why we're here tonight, is to get approval for the variance on the 4-to-1 lot ratio so that we can move the lines away from the creek and get the trees back on the lot they're intended to be on, and et cetera. I will also add, I understand, what's your responsibility. As I said in my letter, I'm a member of the Blue Springs BOA, and so I understand what you're facing and the decision you have to make. This application, though, in no ways affects the public health, welfare. In fact, if you drove down the street, you wouldn't even tell one from the other. It's such a minor change, except for that north lot and its proximity to the creek. That's the major issue right now.
Thank you.
I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Anyone have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Yes.
I've got one. Just reading this, Tract A is the adjustments.
Okay.
The configuration you've got is Tract A is the adjustments. When you do Lot 1, that's the original, right?
Let me be sure I've got, let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what.
Yeah, the proposed, if this variance is granted, the drawing that has tracks A, B, and C is what we're going back to.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the proposed.
So one and.
The ones with
that says
lots 1, 2, and 3,
is
the ones with the lots 1, 2, and 3
Uh-huh.
is the one that's of record that was adjusted to move north, move the lines north. So if you approve this request, we will then refile an amended plat, moving the lines south. And whether it's A, B, and C, or 1, 2, and 3, I'll have to work with the city because their staff was one that recommending going with lots 1, 2, and 3 instead of A, B, C. So my guess is that the new plat will be just like the one that you see A, B, C on,
All right,
but they'll be listed 1, 2, and 3.
okay, thank you.
Hope that wasn't confusing.
We understand.
How are the width to depth ratios calculated? What are the actual inputs to that?
What are the actual, what was that? I'm
The
sorry?
inputs, how do you define what the width and depth is? I mean, it's an L plot, so how do you determine which is your width and which is your depth?
The width is along the street frontage,
Okay,
and then the depth is through the, in this case, the right side, well,
Okay,
really
so-
either way, yeah.
so if, Plat B was accessed from the top left corner as shown now, it would change what your width to depth ratio would be.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to speak in favor of this project? Okay.
Hello, I'm Matt Varner. I'm the owner of Tract A, Lot 1. So one of the things that Mr. Irwin Gard hinted that it kind of squeezes us against the creek with the stream buffer, which it's kind of close with the property line, with the building line and whatnot. So I really hope that you kind of grant that with the give me a little more room so I can build a house there without the stream, or with the stream buffer, but have a little more. So, and we're three families buying this plot to kind of arrange our houses as far as where we want them. And I know a few of us have planned, like Mr. Gard said, plot plans for a house and stuff like that. So hopefully this goes forward, and look forward to approval.
Thank you. Any questions for? Okay. Does anybody want to speak in opposition to this? Or in favor?
I just mentioned something? I want to add something. My name's Amber Dickensheets. I would be, I guess, number 3 in C. I'm on the far end, and we also own the 10 acres farther south of that. So we're about the 20 acres with the combined land that we purchased. Mr. Oster, I think you were asking about a left entrance. I want to make sure when you had the image that was up on the screen, you said entering that land from the left. I don't think you ever would, because the way it was oriented, when I'm looking at the left, that's where the creek is. You would only ever enter off of Charlton Road. I just wanted to make sure that was clear to you.
Right, I guess just Google Earth has an abandoned trail up that way.
Okay. But that's all along the creek, so we would only be having road entrance from Charlton. But as far as the rest of it goes, just the investment that the Verners and the Savins have already made on the driveways and their agricultural landscaping, I guess, that you want to put the trees in, has been an investment for them already. And with us being in that third track, we're certainly willing to work with the Savins because their line has some adjustment, and we will hands down work with them to make sure any changes that need to be made. We're not worried about a half acre or an acre of land of our 20. We're not like, we must have 20. So we are very much willing to work with them if that was of concern at all.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Does anybody else want to speak? Anybody opposed to this? Okay, were there any calls? Okay, we'll take it up here. We'll close the public meeting. So, you guys, any comments?
It just sounds like you've got a situation that's been handled, really.
Yeah.
Mr. Lehman,
Swirl.
be sure to speak more to the microphone when you're.
Okay. I think that the parties have come together and are in agreement, and as long as the changes meet with staff and it can be changed by us,
Okay.
I'm all for it.
Anybody else have a comment? Do I have a motion?
I move the case number 22999-08 be approved.
A second?
I'll second it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve this case, number 22-999-08. I'll call the roll. John Davies,
Yes.
Jack Lehman,
Yes.
John Oster,
Yes.
Aaron Crossley,
Yes.
and I too vote yes. So case number 22-999-08 has been approved as requested. Thank you. Our next case is case number 22-999-09, a variance to the lot width for an R6 zoned lot located at 11713 and 11715 East 35th Street South. So,
So case 22-99909, this is a couple of properties that are along 35th Street, south side of it, west of Chrysler, north of the dead-end Forest Avenue there that you see. So this entire area is zoned R6, and this is a neighborhood of single-family homes all over. So and you can see this is a large piece of property that sort of hadn't been developed, surrounded by these existing neighborhoods. And this is the proposed plat. Proposed minor subdivision. As you can see, the existing property line sort of does a little zigzag, and what they want to do is clean that up. And in order to do that, the new line that's established would have a frontage that's less than the 60 feet required in an R6 single-family district. So, the owner of there's two owners here. One that owns the smaller lot, and then the other owner is of the property to the east of the larger that owns this vacant lot, and they want to, so he wants to replat this, so the neck there on this deeper lot would be just 42 feet roughly, 42 feet 47 inches. So a variance of 18 feet would be needed. The applicants seek to adjust the property lines between the side-to-side properties, so the existing crooked property between the two lots is eliminated. The purpose of this request is to make the eastern property marketable. However, given some of the obstructions along the right-of-way, a cross-access easement to the Rogers driveway or Low Hefner's other lot further east may be necessary. The east lot could also be accessed from South Forest Avenue, south of the lot. In short, the variance is requested to create a straight line to square the property lines between the two properties. So this is where that neck would be between the two properties, which explains the sort of the obstructions there that would be of issue. This is the house to the west and the house to the east. This is they're on Newbury to the northeast, across the street. And there's looking back toward Chrysler and up the hill toward Sterling. This is way south. This is Forest that terminates at the south end of the property. This is on the west side of Forest looking southwest. And this is on the east side looking southeast. And this is looking due north onto the property. So this is a possible frontage as well. So I didn't receive any phone calls. So, And staff indicates that all 6 of the criteria have been met.
Okay. Thank you. Will the applicant please come forward?
Good evening.
Hi.
I'm Ben Casey. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, David Lohefner. And this is kind of a unique situation because I also represent the adjacent neighbors who submitted the minor subdivision application. And we submitted that and we were moving forward, and then we got the comments from the city about this frontage requirement. So Mr. Lohefner was gracious enough to say he would be the applicant since this is on his lot, on the frontage requirement, so we can get this minor subdivision done. And one of the things, one of the issues besides the zigzag is that currently the Rogers property encroaches on their driveway, and their shed encroaches upon Mr. Lohefner's property. So this will clean that up too. When the lots were originally platted, this, I think it was a big family who did this, and they weren't thinking about it when they did it, and here we are today. So as Mr. Harker said, this is basically, just to clean that up. We're asking for an 18-foot variance from the 60-foot requirement, and it does, per the city, meet the requirements for the variance, all the criteria. So, and I think this will be helpful to both Mr. Lohefner and to the Rogers.
Thank you. Any questions?
Would this divide,
Everybody's happy with this?
Yes, and yes, Mr. Lohefner is here, Mr. Rogers, yes, they're both in agreement with this.
just for information, where on this image would the new line be? To the left of that tree, essentially?
It's, well,
Just trying to see it in my head.
yes,
Just to the left of that tree? Okay.
yes, just to the left. If you can see, I don't, you can't really see that picture, but the shed is right.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. But you can't really see it, but the shed is at the very back where that basketball goal is too, and it's encroaching across this, but that will clean that up.
I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else want to speak in favor of this? Anybody opposed? Okay. And do you have rebuttal to yourself? Okay.
No further questions.
Okay, so we'll bring it up here, close the public portion. That was a gavel. Well, guys,
Any calls?
My one
No, I didn't have any calls.
my one question is, how are they going to fit a driveway
do what?
on the new plot? Because if you look at it, I mean, I'm sure this is the existing, oops, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Oster, be sure to speak in the microphone so I can hear you.
If you look at street view, you can kind of see, you've got a creek in the middle, and a tree, and a utility pole all along this frontage. So there's not a whole lot of room for a driveway to snake in there. So that's my only concern.
That's not our responsibility. That they have to work that out. So if we have,
I think Mr. Parker addressed that there could be access from the back.
Right, and I think if you access from the back, it wouldn't actually require a variance, would it? Because that would be the frontage. Okay.
Like Mr. Brown said, we're not.
okay. So, anybody, any comments up here? Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve case 22-999-09.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve case number 22-999-09. I'll call the roll. John Davies? Yes. Jack Lehman?
Yes.
John Oster?
Yes.
Aaron Crosley?
Yes.
And I, Roy Brown, vote yes. So case number 22-999-09 999-09 has been approved as presented. Our next case is case number 22-999-10, a variance to the ground solar mount location standard for the property at 1226 North Bill Johnson Road.
Yes, this is an application by the solar guys on behalf of the property owners, the Stevens, to add a solar panel array in the front of their house on Bill Johnson Road, which is just north of Bunchy Road and somewhat west of Route 7 Highway. This area, this vicinity map shows the general area. Bill Johnson Road is that narrow road that goes from 7 Highway down to Bunchy Road. This is the zoning of the property. As you can see, everything north of Bunchy Road there is basically agriculture zoning, RA zoning, except for that piece of C2 zoning there. Not sure what that's about, but here is the aerial that shows the shape of the property. It's kind of a pie-shaped piece of ground. You can see the heavy tree cover in the back of the property and along parts of the front. And there's Bill Johnson Road on the right side of the slide. And this shows the location of the house, the driveway, which kind of, as you can see from this aerial photograph, and then transpose it over to this. The house, the driveway, and then the location where they want to put the solar arrays, which is between the house and the street. This is actually the front of their house. It faces generally east, maybe northeast slightly. And then sort of across the driveway is this area here where this flagpole is. And that is pretty much open to the sun at all times. Got a few shots of this. There's another one here. And I guess there's just 2 shots of that. The driveway from this, it follows that truck line and then curves around and it connects up to Bill Johnson Road on the right side of the screen off this picture. Really can't see this area very well, or the house very well from the road. It's got a lot of tree cover along there. That's one of the reasons why the applicant is seeking the variance. If I can show that to you again if you have any questions.
Were there any calls?
No, there was not.
Would the applicant please come forward?
Hello, Jesse Weider, owner of the Solar Guys, 6114 MO-9, Parkville, Missouri. Without putting the solar array in any other location, we would have to cut down a substantial amount of trees. They have a beautiful property. If you can see it, the solar system, you would see it possibly in the fall from the road, but no neighboring properties would be able to see the system. So,
Okay. So you would, your answer to the review criteria that the alleged hardship has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property is that you really can't place the solar array anywhere else without destroying a lot of trees.
which is exactly, that's the last thing that we want to do. So that is the spot that, when we did our sun analysis, that is the best area that we could possibly put the system. And normally we show it in 2 tables or 2 different arrays, We would normally want to put them in one, but the way that we've staggered them, we've set it up so that it would maximize his energy independence.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Any questions of the applicant?
It says you're 8 feet off the ground, is that?
from the backside, correct, yep, approximately 8 feet, yep.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to speak on behalf of this? Any opposition? Okay, so we'll take it up here. Close the public portion. What do you guys think?
Were there any phone calls?
Not that I recall, no.
I already asked him that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty reasonable use of the land.
Yeah, it seems, I'm all for saving trees.
Yeah, and taking out, 100 trees is not exactly eco-friendly.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve case 22-999-10 as presented.
Okay, we have it's been moved and seconded that we approve case number 22-999-10. I'll call the roll. John Davies?
Yes.
Jack Lehman?
Yes.
John Oster?
Yes.
Aaron Crosley?
Yes.
And I, Roy Brown, will also vote yes. So case number 22-999-10 has been approved as requested. Thank you. I have one more case, case number 22-999-11. A variance to the allowable accessory building square footage standard for the property located at 816 South Grand Avenue.
Yes, this is case 22-999-11 at 816 South Grand. These are, this is what people often call a double lot. It's a lot that has a house on it and then the vacant lot to the south. Gene Hill seeks to construct a 600 square foot garage on what is currently the south lot. Was currently the south lot of a two-lot property at 816 South Grand Avenue. To build a new garage on that lot that currently has no principal structure, the applicant will have to combine the two lots into one. The proposed garage will set back about 50 feet from the front property line and will be constructed south of the existing house. There is an existing accessory building west of the house. Due to the coverage of the existing accessory building and the additional coverage of the proposed garage, the applicant would exceed the allowed square footage for accessory structures per the UDO. 15% of the rear yard area, or 4,500 square feet. That's the yard area. 15% of that would be 675. The combined area of the existing accessory building, 348.5 square feet, and the proposed garage, 600 square feet, would be 948.5 square feet. With the 675 square feet allowed, there would need to be a variance of 273.5 square feet. So, sorry. This is in an area of R12, which allows single-family and duplex lots, although this is largely a single-family neighborhood here. You can see an aerial of this location. You can see the location of the proposed garage. This is the house, and off to our left is the side of the proposed garage. And here's a better look at it, and the neighbor to the south. This is the neighbor across the street to the northeast. And then the property looking southeast from the location. Staff saw that this met all 6 of the criteria, and we have received no calls concerning this application, so ready to take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Applicant, please come forward.
Evening. So
Can
basically.
you state your name and your address, please?
Gene Hill, property owner. So as you can see, it's typical of something of that vintage. You have a small house and a small one-car garage on a double lot. So it's just a way to add a little bit of garage space for pursuing whatever hobby is, if it's primarily, playing with some cars. Just a little more garage space is all I'm asking for.
Okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I see no one else, so we'll just take it up here. Oh, wait, no, that's the lawyer. Okay, guys. Any comments?
I move we accept 22999-11.
Well, you guys are really doing it tonight. What about the other side of the board? You guys doing all this? Oh, did they? Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve case number 22-999-11. I'll take the roll. John Davies?
Yes.
Jack Lehman?
Yes.
John Oster?
Yes.
Aaron Crosley?
Yes.
And I, Roy Oster, vote yes. So case number 22-999-11 has been approved as presented. Thank you. Now we need to approve the minutes from. Okay.
I move to approve the minutes from the June 16th meeting.
Second? Okay. So I'll just, all in favor, just indicate by saying yay.
Yay.
Opposed, nay. So it's passed. Now what else we need to do, sir?
Well, as you've met our newest member of the board there, Mr. Oster. He is a resident of the city, obviously, lives very close to here, so he can walk over if the conditions are really bad. And you have an engineering background of some, so he can help with some technical issues if necessary. He is an alternate, but, with this board, everybody plays.
Welcome.
Yeah, but I'm a mechanical engineer for about 10 years, so.
So, do we need to elect officers this time?
Well, I thought, because we were kind of got some board shifting around, we'd wait till August, if that's okay.
Okay.
Since you seem to be the one that they wanted to be chairman, during this interim period, that's why I put you up
So
there.
I'm the interim chairman?
Acting,
Okay.
and then next time you can vote to appoint,
Okay, thank you.
elect your officers.
So I guess we'll close the meeting, all in favor, lead by voting to feet.
I saw the meeting when you adjourned last time, and I was like, oh man,